maybe I'll get some footage. Maybe I'll get some daytime footage. I got about 30 minutes of daylight left. 15 to 30 minutes. It's going to be pleasant. The weather's going to be pretty pleasant for the next few days. And the days are longer. I'm pretty sure the kids are out of school now. I mean, like, they put brand new and I think it was because of the developers, but they put brand new sidewalk, brand new curbs, brand new storm drains, crosswalk. Somebody went all out for a street that nobody goes down. Yesterday I put in 10 tickets and it took me 3 hours. See how the through-on app is working today. I'm not going to even try to use the start with a photo because it doesn't work. They're going to say I need to call 311. Shopping cart hazardous. So I guess I'll show you how to do that. So use this service to report an abandoned shopping cart that is blocking a street, alley, sidewalk. The cart is not abandoned, notify, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's, what they mean by not abandoned is if you see somebody's belongings inside of it and it belongs to a homeless person, then, and it's just sitting around, then you not call 911 and the cops come pick it up because the guy might be in the area. I can get that. That's a good pick, man. That's a good pick. I saw it yesterday. All right, that's all you need. This is triangulation. What I'm hoping is that they pull the so what you can do is you can pull EXIF data off of phones, and I think I got location thing turned on. And it's hard to give an intersection because it's Van Ness, but it's also Linda. Anyway, for the location you can put in GPS, but it doesn't actually do it right. So what you can put in is the name of the streets in alphabetical order. So this will be Linda and Marsh. Oh, I can't type. Marsh. And it finds the intersection. Additional information, this helps. So I'm going to do this. Northern median at northbound or southbound Marsh at Linda or Van Ness. So then I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Oh, it actually put a period in there. That's nice. Alright, so that's what I put down to be as descriptive as possible. Confirm. Now it says $36.99 Linda. I don't. That's something that it pulled up. It's wrong. Actually, I guess that's right. This is the 99th. Chances are they're probably not going to find it. If I put that in, half the time they can't find the addresses, even though it's in the system. Shopping location, median. You'll see now it's running slow. Let's try it again. Median. There we go. Next. Name of the store. Maybe it's my phone. El Rancho. Is the car to be abandoned? Oops. See, I always get that confused. Yes, it's abandoned. Nobody's. Yes, once the work's completed. El Rancho shopping cart in the northern median. If you're traveling northbound on Marsh Lane, it's at the intersection of Marsh and Van Ness. If you're traveling southbound, it's at the intersection of Marsh and Linda. Thanks in advance for your help. Pretty good. You see, like the AI creates am I gonna cover up my stuff here? So here's my contact information. You can leave that if you want. I'm covering it up because there's stupid people out there. So then you've got, please verify. You got one more chance to check it out. Make sure you got everything right. You got the photos. You got the details. Your contact information. Says El Rancho shopping cart in the northern median. If you're traveling northbound on North Lane, it's at the intersection. Yeah, I got all that stuff in there, and then it's got my contact information. And then you just hit the submit button. If it says submitting, you're good, because it's going into the system. If you're sitting there still waiting for it, you might be in bad luck. Submitting, I'm in. And there is your service request. So thank you. That green is the best thing you can see. And that's how you submit a ticket. Alright, so I'm not going to get any daytime footage of what I want to get daytime footage of, because there's always something. Dry as a bone. And we got some new branches in there. God damn it. So somebody's putting their clippings in here. Alright, well, let's get some footage. Is this slippery? Not really. Alright, I got GPS coordinates. I got eyes on it. They're not gonna look at this and they're gonna say, eh. They're gonna let it slide. It'll be about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. We won't get a rainstorm for quite a while, probably until Friday. And I won't have time to put it in. There's just... 7 minutes. It's gonna get dark real quick. I think someone watches my channel. The way she acted, she was like she knew me. You know, it's funny that Bombs Over Baghdad, when it came out, it set all kinds of records for one of the fastest songs. So many damn gear changes. At the very end, it gets good. It's like power music, electric revival. And then it just cuts out. It's like, nah. You guys don't deserve a full song of that. And the weird thing is it perfectly matches the chaos of the street. It matches chaos in any band. They were playing Bombs Over Baghdad in the second invasion. When the United States invaded a sovereign nation and started setting the path to fascism. They were the reason the guy was in there in the first place, and then they said, nah, we don't want you there anymore. Came up with flimsy excuses of why they had to get rid of him. The thing about the empty seat in the White House now is old Georgie doesn't have to answer where the weapons of mass destruction is. Where are they, George? You got to be some kind of special moron to make George Bush look good. Any of them. Bam. I have no idea why that's there. What a weird time to cut the grass. Ah, I knew you were going to say that. So you guys are out, huh? Gotta say, y'all were decent neighbors. Good luck to you wherever you head. Unlike them other dudes down the street. All right. Okay. Did I include my charging cable? Probably not. Nope, it's not in here. No, that would have made sense. Alright, well anyway, we got what we needed. I'm kind of curious what I did with that thing now. Oh, there it is. Ah. Alright. I guess I'm going to listen to the sounds of, not nature, but of the, they were nice enough to give me a rock to sit on. Which rock is the flattest? This one looks saddle-ish. Oh. I have 2 batteries run out on me. There it is. You know what, I'm pretty stupid. There's another way I could have done this. I'm just now acknowledging it. Anyway, pretty stupid. What I could have done, all right, check for bugs, no bugs. We want it resting on the back of my head. Alright, so we'll just make sure that's not too wet and dirty. Yes, I know that sounded pornographic. What I mean is just literally what I said. It's dirty out here and I'm wet with sweat, and I want to make sure I don't get something in the charging port. Alright, there we go. But what I forgot is this light that I'm wearing, it serves as a battery. You can use it so the way it was designed is pretty neat, because the GoPro uses passive charging. You can plug the GoPro directly into it, or you can plug it into the charging port on the USB-C port on the GoPro, and it will charge the camera while it also produces light. The light wasn't designed for what I'm using it for. It was designed for people who snorkel and dive and stuff like that. You're supposed to be able to see. It's very bright underwater, but it does a pretty damn good job on land too. Anyway, I got 2 batteries on me. Actually, I've got so many batteries, you might as well just call me Power Man. Wait, that name's taken. Probably Better Man. But I got batteries in both watches. I got a battery in the camera, battery in the headphones, and 2 batteries on the one battery on big lithium battery on the thing, and one big giant Jackery lithium on my back. Time? Yeah, it's time now. Alright. You see, this looks like it's getting worse. Something's happening here. It's not draining or something. I don't know. Can I move this by hand? Yes. I guess I get to test out something today. Oh crap, did I leave my... No, it's still here. So they just left this thing in the middle of the... Alright, I get to test something out. Oh, this thing cuts through it like butter. I don't even know who makes this thing. Oh. Whew. Gonna be a hell of a workout. Okay. Where do you want to saw next? And the wave right on. No, I'm not gonna sing it like this. And the wave for real. Away for real. Whoa, whoa. Who makes this? Coer. Well, thank you guys for giving me this before the tariffs kick in. Not a bad saw. Man, I have never had something that slices through a limb. I'll have to remember this when I'm amputating. I think it's getting dull. I think I'm getting dull. Cut these little end pieces off. Kind of in the way. You know, despite what this thing said, it cannot cut through 1-inch limbs. Okay. You might be worthy of being hung off my belt. Man, that was. Whew. You out of shape? Yeah. Yeah, I'm out of shape. I'm not a lumberjack and I'm not okay. I'm not even worthy of being called a lumber Bob, man, at this point. I'm like Lumber Steve. Eesh, nobody wants Lumber Steve. Oh, Steve just got pissed off. Well, I'm unsubscribing. Sorry, Steves. It's just the way it is. Everybody knows Jack's better than Bob, and Bob's better than Steve. Alright. Yeah, I take ownership of the sidewalks, man. So I get pissed off when people leave stuff on my sidewalks. It's like he just walked through a bunch of dog crap and then just came in my house with white carpet and just started stepping. Highly disrespectful. I won't have it. Okay. All right. It would have been nice to have some music to saw by, but that's on me. My punishment for not charging my headphones is I get to walk Walnut Hill in quiet shame. Yeah, I bought a cheap folding saw on Amazon for just such an emergency, and I got to use it. I bought a cheap folding camp stove, or champ shovel. I didn't know that thing was going to be so small, but for my needs, it's perfect. I just can't carry it all the time. It's already bad enough I start looking like Goblin Slayer. Although that damn thing, when I looked at it, it looks like, the shovel I bought looks like something out of Max Brooks' Wet Dreams. I somehow accidentally bought the lobotomizer. I see something back there. Let me go ahead and sneak through here. The family that composts together. Don't believe in the stop sign, man. You're a Tesla driver. I already know you're an asshole. Don't lie to people. You don't care that Elon's crazy, you bought it anyway. Oh, yeah. Whew. Get that unrighteousness out. Oh, let me see what they're doing. Now they're moving dirt. Start burying the pipes. What do you think? I think the church gave up its property. The church probably gave up its property in exchange for, like, I don't know. They already got a check sprayed. So does the water department buy it? Are they going to do something with it? One of the things to check out. I guess we can look at the DCAD. Damn, I really want to get some daytime footage of the crosswalk over here. It's funny, it's not like I was, of course, I take that back. There was 4 hours of YouTube videos in there somewhere, but there was also 4 hours of writing tickets. Like tonight, all the stuff that I took pictures of, plus the little project I got going on my own street, it's going to easily be about 5 hours. And you see what a lot of it is, it's just me trying to get the system to work the right way. Now I'm not using the phone app, I'm using the desktop app, and it's, or not the but the desktop website. And depending on what mood it's in, but I put it in a 311 complaint. It wasn't a complaint, it was just a suggestion, and then it got routed to complaint compliment. I was like, great, that just makes me sound like an asshole. So I said, hey, I'm having a hard time loading pictures. Sometimes it takes a 5-minute ticket, can take 15 minutes. I said, can you add more states to the Salesforce? And my response back was not, well, Mr. Young, that's not in the budget, blah, blah, blah. It was like, man, well, yes. I've been telling them that for months. I was like, what? Well, thanks for putting this in. We're going to get working on that. I was like, what? So. Howdy. One thing about walking this in silence, so I get to find out just how loud. Like my headphones, bone conduction headphones. But my bone conduction headphones, they block out most of this. I don't. There's a time when I was walking around and I said, no, I don't need any music. And then it's like, I can't get through the city without it. When I started out, I had a Walkman. Probably about the only thing that Sony makes that they can't screw up. I say that, but I went through a lot of headphones. For some reason, Sony couldn't make a good pair of outdoor, waterproof headphones to save their lives. Or maybe they could, I just didn't want, I didn't have the money at the time to spend $100 on headphones. So I'd buy the $10 cheap ones at Eckerd's and then Walgreens. Get them for like $10, pop them, put them on, they last for about 6 months, and then you'd have to get another pair. Or I would splurge and I'd spend $20 on the Sport. And I thought the Sport ones, because it even said it on there, water resistant. Apparently not sweat resistant though. And it was always the same, the right one would go out. I don't know if it's because I was pulling on a wire or something, but I'd always lose the right headphone, or the right earpiece. And then for a long time I was wearing earbuds. All the little cheap brands that they had on, or the recommended brands they had on Amazon. And then on a whim, I tried the ones that the guys on the YouTube were saying. I was like, oh, Ephemeral Wraps is pretty cool. Or all these other guys. So I got the Raycons. And the Raycons were worse than any cheap Eastern European, Chinese earbuds on the market. Those things went out in like 3 months. I said, what the hell is this? So I sent them a thing and they said, hey, these went out. And they said, oh, we'll send you another pair. And they just kept sending me pairs after pair. And I said, you know, at a certain point, man, I just got to stop using them. So I think after about the second or third pair, after they started getting really tough on me, I said, it's all right. I got one pair that I guess everybody wears, the ones where they've got the little finger thing on there, the little post. Makes it look like a potato masher. I got the little potato masher post. It's a June. I got a little potato masher post, and I had those, a pair of those that I keep. Earbuds are great. The only problem with them is they block out everything. I could not hear what people were saying. I could not hear what was going on the street. They were wonderful, but there are a lot of assholes in this city, and so you got to be able to hear them coming. Now some do have a passive mode, but it still mutes. It still mutes anything else you can hear. Boy, if ever the people in the gated community wanted to let you know that you're not wanted anywhere near their property, putting the sprinklers on it. Well, it is 9 o'clock. I guess I was sawing logs a lot. I was not planning on lumberjacking today. Anybody see me doing that? I'll never know. I'll never know who's watching. Sometimes nowadays I stumble into these group meetings and it's, oh yeah, I've seen you around. Or like that one, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, the guy said, I see you walking around here all the time. That's how most conversations start. What made me feel really old was one day I was walking, and the dude straight up told me, he says, I've been watching you. He says, man, I was watching you when my parents were pushing me around in the stroller, and I was like, oh, cringed. Don't tell me stuff like that. No, this city sucks without music. Like, I could do this at White Rock Lake, and I could just be walking the trail and you hear like bird sounds and frogs. Like right now I hear crickets. It's not Wednesday. What, do Catholics need a special day to have Mass? They can have Mass anytime they want, man. Why are you bugging? It's like, goes to Tuesday night mass? Well, apparently these people do. They need all the help they can get, man. God's available 24/7. God on tap. Is that judo? No. That would be funny though. Randori in the name of God. Maybe they're having their graduation. In an alternate universe somewhere, I graduated from this school. But in this universe, it was the Lutherans that could put up with me. Which is probably why I'm such a dry individual now. I have sampled many of the fine fruits of Protestantism. I gotta say the Lutherans were probably the easiest. Lutherans kept everything subdued, man. They don't, like their churches are plain wood pew, well, the one I went to. Plain wooden pews, no baptismal, maybe a little tiny baptismal where they take it out and they put a little, you know, it's no big giant ceremony. The pastors did dress in white outfits, but they were pretty modest compared to Catholic standards. Like Lutheranism is a Catholicism with modesty. They said, you know, you Catholics are a bit much. They even like that was the whole thing, the diet of worms, the nailing of the 95 or 99 theses on the wall of the church. And we hear all of this stuff when we were in the school. Every year they would tell us about Martin Luther. So Martin Luther did this, Martin Luther did that, Martin Luther flower. Kept it pretty low-key. The only thing that was ornate where I went was they had a big, giant pipe organ. I always look forward to every year they would start playing "A Mighty Fortress Is Our God." I had no idea that the song, it never dawned on me. Especially, like, I was a kid. I don't know anything about races. I didn't know anything about ethnicities. That's where I learned all these German last names. German last names, German Jewish last names. Pfeiffers and Falstaffs and Pfisters. Tetzlaff. Tetzlaff German? We had exchange students from Germany. And the one dude's name was Sebastian, the other guy was Wolfgang. One of my teachers, she was fluent in German. And so every once in a while when they had a little bit of a sticking point, she'd say something to them and they'd be like, oh, okay, I understand now. That was kind of the neat thing. You go to a predominantly German school, Hitler will come up in the conversation. You just can't avoid it. My father got out of Poland before the Germans came. My father got out of, he escaped just across the border in the thing, and then we got out of Germany. But a few people who there was the other thing. It was the communists too. They didn't mention the communists, but they were saying they got out of East Germany before the Berlin Wall went up. Schultz. My God, so many Schultz. So many different ways to spell Schultz. Why is yours spelled different than his? Well, let me tell you about the Zimmerman note. And I was like, oh God. Browns. Bronze. It looks like brown. It's brown. And then the actual, you know, color brown, because once again, you gotta acclimate. Anglicize your name. I never got to try the cuisine. Maybe because some people think that German cuisine is penance. Never got to try liver and dumplings. Sauerkraut. Bratwurst, Wiener Schnitzel. You're asking, how do you know about all these dishes then? I come from a family of cooks, so that was the weird thing about having a family from New Orleans is, New Orleans is a place where all cuisines just kind of, like, everybody runs to the mouth of the Mississippi. And so for a long time I was eating Asian dishes and didn't know they were Asian dishes. Eating Caribbean dishes, didn't know they were Caribbean dishes. Eating African dishes, didn't know they were, you know, of course I knew they were African, but... You go to New Orleans, everything's mixed up. There's variations on paella. Places that serve chicken and waffles. There's places that, you know, Belgian food. There's tons of French food. And then they have the one where we always call it the yakami. And I forgot what the Japanese call it, but it's a Japanese dish. And in New Orleans, it's considered a hangover cure. You just put you got the olive oil, and the noodles, like the egg noodles, and the ground beef, and you put the green onions and the egg on it. I hated eating it when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I hate this. Mom said, you want yakami? So I made yakami. And I'll piss off, or I'll gross out a lot of Japanese people, but I used to put ketchup on it. I'd be like, yeah. I know there's at least one person in Japan that does the same thing. It takes it's also a Chinese dish, so it goes by the Chinese dish, and then it got real popular in Japan. Not so much in China, but I forgot what the name of it is. But it's yaki something. I think it's yakimane. That's what it is, yakimane. Yakimane is Chinese, real popular in Japan. In New Orleans, they call it yakami. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody who puts ketchup on the yakimane someone else in the world. But then again, you're talking about a guy who, give you an idea how weird and kind of ghetto I am. I've eaten a chitlin sandwich. I was like, I hate chitlins, but maybe if I put a piece of bread, and it worked for me. Then I put a slice of cheese. People just looked at that and they're like, that's gross. I was like, eating pig guts, that's okay. The second I put cheese in and put it between a piece of bread, you're just like, ugh, that's gross. You're eating your pig guts like a sandwich? That's weird. Chitlin sandwich with cheese. I hate chitlins. I hate chitlins, man. I'm not gonna eat, I don't eat pork anymore, so. Not for religious reasons, but environmental. And the weirdest thing is when I gave up pork and beef, my digestion got a whole lot better. Everything got a whole lot better. I do not miss it. I don't get the heartburn, I don't get the indigestion, I don't get the constipation. Me and red meat don't mix, man. Forgot the sun's there. No, I don't think I'm going to put my music back on. I think I'm just going to talk the whole time. I just wish this is not the Dallas I grew up in, and that's always the bone of my contention. Is the one thing that I just can't let go of. Is it was a lot friendlier, it was a lot less crazy, and it was a lot quieter. It was a lot cleaner too. We got an influx of sorry people from everywhere. People that couldn't make it wherever they were at. Welcome to Dallas. You say all that, but you're just, they said, you're the the child of immigrants. Immigrating from another city that failed. And I said, fair point. New Orleans was one of those sad, the cliche statement. Oh, a lot of assholes showed up. The cliched statement is, it's a nice place to live, but I wouldn't want to live there. I mean, it's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. And that was New Orleans. And I love the smells in New Orleans. It's hard to really describe. You have to go there. New Orleans is funky, but it's a neat kind of funk. The funk is part of the charm of the city. It's like a foreigner with some kind of exotic BO. It still stinks, but it's a nuanced stink. Oklahoma had no smell. Oklahoma it smelled like dirt and despair. I keep harping bad about Oklahoma, but it's just I've never had a place, like I said, that made me feel like it was weird. Like I felt like I was the human version of a blank piece of paper. I was nothing. I was static. I was blank. Sometimes I miss that feeling. I don't miss the despair. I don't miss that feeling like something was pressing down on my chest. Boy, and I sure as hell don't miss Houston. Man, I don't get how people do it. I was like, Houston's not even, you can't even say that about, you can't say Houston's a nice place to visit. It's not even that. You would not want to go to Houston at all. Your job forced you to go there. Houston is not a place that you want to be, despite what City Nerd was saying. Now, I'm saying all this, and I knew somebody that stayed at Nassau Bay. And Nassau Bay was like the little suburb that you can get out of it, and the air was clean. There was this cool breeze that came off the Gulf Coast. There were sailboats. I mean, it was pristine. It was beautiful. You was like, this is Houston. It's like, that's Houston. So I will concede there are some parts of Houston that make it bearable. But you have to go across all those goddamn freeways and streets to get to it. It's just not worth it. What the devil was that all about? I guess you cut an imposing figure. It's like, I cut nothing. being nosy. Pull over and we'll talk for a while. Hey buddy, what's with all this? What, this? Oh, you know, I just video journal. And I tell them, and they're like, oh, okay, thank God. My name is Ken Manley. I work for the government. Just scare the crap out of people. My name is Dexter Toussaint. I'm a special envoy for the FBI. My name is Paul Jefferson. I work for the company. In a way, I guess I do work for the company. Because we all work for the company. It's over, Diane. We'll pick up your signs. I wonder if the CIA, I don't think the CIA needs all the stuff I put out. I don't know. I wonder what government entities are watching my videos. And why does it just have to be my government? It could be governments plural. I could be feeding them all the information they need for invasions. You see, I was sitting here worrying about, I cover up all my stuff because I'm worried about identity thieves, so I don't give away too much information. But it may also be governments that I got to worry about. The biggest identity thief of them all. You worry that the chitlin sandwich thing and the yakami and all that stuff will... It's like, no, this is all... I tell you, I hate these things. But the truth is, if you prepare it right, I'll eat just about anything. I've never tried durian. From what I understand, it tastes like lemon dripped asshole. But I'll never know. Can't be any worse than chitlins, right? You're eating a pig's guts. A pig eats anything. Some people say a pig is a dirty animal. I don't know who looked at this thing and said to themselves, well, everything else on it tasted pretty good. Let's try the guts too. Not a single part of the pig goes to waste. We eat that thing from asshole to hooves. People even, like, they pickle the tails, the feet, the lips, the ears, the snout. I have had, and I know how to make, hog heads cheese. People say, what is hog's head cheese? This is exactly what you think it is. Go to the butcher shop, you buy the pig's head. You take that bad boy and you put it in a pressure cooker, so all that meat starts falling off of it. And then you take all of that. Now you put all your seasoning in it, of course, your special seasonings. But you take all of that, and once you have boiled that head down to where it's just nothing but a pile of goo, you take that goo and you lay it out on a sheet. And you let it cool. And because it's a super saturated solution of lipids, cartilage, and connective tissues and whatnot, that solution hardens. And when it hardens, it turns into a sheet of wiggly, rubbery, meaty goodness. You get you some crackers and you just start tearing it off and you eat, and that's hogshead cheese. Howdy. So it's the weirdest thing. I'm thinking, okay, they're going to build a house on this entire lot. And instead what they did was Jamuna Til. So it went from the Russian chick, the Eastern European chick, to the Bangladeshi chick. I think it's Bangladesh, I don't know. So you know that, buddy. I was like, I don't know anything. I know Southeast Asia has the unique distinction of being both wonderful and terrible at the same time. And it pulls it off well. Here's this place that has rich culture and history and contributed so much to the world of mathematics, science, and astronomy. And it's the armpit and asshole of the world. Like, Southeast Asia is why you hope that they never develop smell-o-vision. Because sometimes, man, I'm watching it and I was like, I can smell this. I was like, this was filmed decades ago in another part of the country. There's no way the smell permeates to this TV, but I can smell it. You just know. You know that what you're watching, it smells pretty right. No more Fernando's. Wait, is there no more Fernando's? I think they closed up at the 18th. Yeah, that was yesterday. 2 days ago. Yeah, they're gone. Man, I was not expecting that saw to cut that smooth. I was like, here's a cheap saw, maybe I'll use it to cut a few short limbs. I was like, man, I went on that thing and it just... Only gripe is I'll never know how to sharpen the thing if I can take it to a place. But they make this stuff so cheap now. Probably just buy another one. It wasn't that expensive. One of my first folding saws like that, it was a loaner it was a Boy Scout saw. I guess I can tell a little bit on myself too here too. As a Boy Scout, I have tried just about every kind of axe and saw you can imagine. My favorite kind of saw? Wait a minute. Let's not say that. That might give away too much to the enemy. But I do have a favorite type of saw. I'll tell you which one I hate though. I hate the old miter saw it was a triangular saw. You see, the thing about the triangular saw is only good for one thing, and the funny thing is it's terrible at what it's designed for, which is cutting, but it's a great musical instrument. I hate those kind of saws, the triangular saw. Miter saws are okay, they got a stiff back on them. Axe saws are very useful. I mean, like I said, that triangular saw is worse.
Wait.
It's worse than a they call them band saws or wire saws, and they're like, that's penance. If you committed a major sin in your life and you want to know how to atone, try cutting something down with a wire saw. I was like, who is that? That's the whatchamacallit. I can't never say her name. My sister loves her though. I think that's at the Badu bus. Man, it might actually be quiet now. Oh, my GPS kicked in. That's weird. Okay, so there are assholes that can still drive through here. Alright. Ooh, not bad. Not bad at all. That's what they're doing over there. Maybe I'm getting lucky and they're putting the bike lane in. Oh, that was funny. I don't take myself seriously. I mean, they did eliminate parking minimums. But they did that with such ease. I'm kind of worried. Like it'll be Dallas's version of eliminated parking minimums. Excuse me. But yeah, that would be awesome. I come back here and I look, and they took that and they just made it a protected bike lane with a sidewalk. I'd be like, wow. Or it's already got a sidewalk with a protected bike lane. More than likely they're digging up some godforsaken pipe that they should have replaced 50 years ago and finally getting around to it. There's no signage to tell you what the project's all about. You just will have to guess. Pretty sure that's what it is, though. Well, the plan was to come down this way tomorrow and get some footage of Bachman before the meeting next week. The reality is, I don't know. The reality is it rained. So it's going to be the same thing it always is. Me going down to the Bachman branch and just wading through a muddy mess. There are a lot of assholes in this city. You know, it's kind of weird. I haven't heard sirens in a while. Alright, what's my status here? Still charging. Still charging. You see a blue light? Fully charged. I do have to say though, these Boeing conduction headphones, this is the longest I've had. As long as I've had some headphones last, and I'll say that and then they'll go out on me, but I can say without equivocation is, do not get Youth Whisper. Youth Whisper sucks. I've never had a worse experience with any kind of I want to say speakers or headphones. It is just, I've never seen anything like it. Like, the controls on it are wonky, they're stupid. It doesn't, like, you turn it up all the way and you can't turn off the passive. Like, theirs is baked in. They say that you can turn it off, but you can't turn it off. You'll be hearing everything but the music. And then it's just really stupid way of doing things. Like, so on the pair of headphones I got, you press it 3 times and it'll go back to the previous song. Sometimes I don't know what's going on. I hit it the wrong way and for some reason it redials the last number. I hate that. But when it's acting right, you just hit it 3 times and go back a song. Youth Whisper, I have no idea how to do it. Like, I think I heard that you have to press it 5 times to go back. I was like, wow, y'all really don't want anybody jumping back. You better like that song, goddammit, because you can't go back. You better like your playlist, because we're not going to let you go back. I was like, you just basically turned my headphones, or my system, into an 8-track tape player. Like, that's what sucks about 8-track, is you can't hit reverse. It's like, buddy, you are on this journey. Why would you ever want to go back? You can go to the other side, but you can never go back. So you'd hit that little button, it would flip to side A. And you got very, very familiar with, okay, I couldn't get, that was my favorite song on side A. You hit that button, oh, I'm going to flip over to the song on side B. I hate this song. Or maybe you like that one too. And I guess that was its way of rewinding, because you'd have to listen to the song that was on side B, and then you can hit that button again, and then it would go over to side A, and then you can start listening to that song that you liked before. Cassettes, stop, rewind. You hear that? You hear that noise? I do kind of miss that though. There's some tape players that did allow you to hit reverse while you were in play, and so you would hear the song backward and in high speed. So it sounded like a chipmunk having a seizure. There's a whole bunch of kids that will never know the joys of hearing a song, hearing a tape rewind. That's one of those old man anachronism things that I can't explain. You'd have to get the original technology, which I know it still exists, because there are people who, I didn't know they were still making floppy disks. I didn't know they were still making cassette tapes. I didn't know they were still making magnetic tape in general. And they do it for 2 reasons. Number one, it's still a very reliable backup that has lasted half a century to longer. They still have tapes from the 60s that are still going strong. The other reason, and I was reading that in, I think it was New York Times, or was it Wired? It was one of those decent news outlet. They were saying that there are people still running Windows 3.1. There's still people running Microsoft DOS. There's still people running Windows 95. Not because they're stubborn stalwarts that don't want to change, but because, well, I mean, as far as the software is concerned. But they're doing it because they have an old piece of hardware, and that's the only thing that runs on it. So you've got military system, like the VA system still runs on this old antiquated system that is, or their database still runs on an old antiquated system that was built around DOS, I think. So they got to keep those little floppies around to reload the operating system. Then they got to find workstations that'll still run that old ass stuff. I was telling somebody about that the other day. You know, back when we used to have to do this, and I was talking about how to write a batch file to get the thing to boot. you had auto exec bat and you had config.ini. You had another file, I think that was, but anyway, you had these two files that you needed to get DOS to boot. And anybody could write it. That was the cool thing. You just get you a text editor, write it real quick. And I forgot how to write a script for auto exec bat. So that's a lost art. I'm sure I can find an old magazine. It's like, oh yeah, come back on. That's what I love about Linux, is that it keeps me on my toes, because the closest thing that Linux has to that is shell scripts. So I catch myself having to sit there and put the shebang in. The shebang as my header. I have no idea why it's still there. I guess it's to tell the operating. I mean, the operating system is still built to see. It says, "Oh, I see this." Not only that, but you got to tell it what library to load. You know, I use the bash. That's why I said the shebang. The shebang, bash, binary bash, and that's the born again shell. You can use the bash. The bash is the born again shell. Then you get the BSH, KSH. I think there's a CSH. That was the thing about Linux, is there's all these different types of shells and kernels that you use. I've always used the born again. Just never questioned why. I guess I need to bone up on my Linux lore. Anyway, magnetic tapes. Yeah, but they still have to run it on floppies. So they said sometimes, they say once you get it up and running, it's great, but when it breaks down, yeah, it takes like 15 minutes to load it. And those hospitals, traffic systems. Some of the people still run these like old drafting tables and cutting tables and saws and industrial manufacturing equipment that still runs on this old Microsoft-based operating system. That didn't make any sense to me. I was like, you know, you probably could put Linux on these things. You put Puppy Linux, and it'll probably do all that stuff that you're asking it to do. Even if it was an executable designed to work on Windows, I guess it's just the fact that you have to go through that extra layer of the DOS box or wine to try to get it working. I had a flashback this week. I was watching something and I looked at it and I said, I was like, holy cow. I was looking at the window and I said, I haven't seen that since I was in high school. And it was like, you can run the internet on Windows 3.1, but it was never built for it. You had to run this piece of software. I think the one I ran was called WinTrumpet and WinSock. And that was the thing that set up it initialized the internet connection in the back end. It just kind of ran in the background, and then you would run your browser after that. And as far as I know, the only game in town it was Netscape Navigator. You can go down to the big box electronics store, and there they'd have it, WinSock, or it said Netscape Navigator with WinSock or something like that. And you would buy Netscape Navigator, and you'd run it on your computer with 16 megabytes of RAM. And you could browse these websites. I think there are still kids that know what modems sound like, because they still have fax machines. Back when I supported modems, that was always fun. 8+ hours of hearing that screeching in my ear. And then you hear that sweet harmony. It was this weird crescendo, but it let you know that, okay, we're pure. It was static, and it was, and it let you know that you were connected. But I was like, there were sometimes I would be sitting there trying to get it, and I was like, why is this not working for you? I'd put in all those different codes. What was it, the code that we used to use for the UART? I can't remember. But you would write it in the, you went into the connection settings and you'd make sure the baud was a certain way. A lot of times though, it just had to do with the copper lines. There were some lines that no matter what you tried, it was not going to let you establish a decent connection. And you'd have to, like, they had old copper in there, you'd have to go in there and slow it down you'd have to take the speed down real slow. I love those people that had the brand new telephones, and it's like, yeah, everything in my house is new. And you can go the full 115 2K baud, man. You're like, yeah, let it all hang out. And then you find that one guy that had, like, he had the shotgun technology, which means he had enough money to pay for 2 phone lines. He bought 2 modems. He put them in his computer, and he had in his machine, and he had 256K speed, man. It was like, oh wow, you can download an entire collection, an entire season of Star Trek in 8 hours. I mean, and that makes me old. We've had the internet for almost 50 years now. Longer if you, like I said, if you're DOD or some government government entity, if you're in the schools. I remember you'd go to the school and the school had the T1 connection. The T1 was the gold standard. It was 1.5 megabits per second. You're like, wow, damn, that's fast. You go to your favorite porn site and the pictures would just come up instantly. So let me save these in your naughty folder. Not to go too somber or maudlin, but when I used to work at a lot of different places, the internet was the only way I could survive the 8-hour shift. And that early internet was freedom. Everybody just put everything out there for anybody to consume, and they didn't really see a problem with it. There wasn't this. Sure, we were greedy, but the internet wasn't greedy. Not yet. People just saw it as a passing fad. Well, you know, you just put your websites up there. People weren't going to come after you for copyright, because this is like, nobody knows this guy's site's out there. So one of the things that got me through the shift was GoComics.com. And GoComics.com is you can look at any syndicated strips from like all the leading newspapers. They'd have Garfield up there. That's how I was reading Doonesbury for a long time. Trading Paint. And of course, that's where I'm segueing into Dilbert. And I love Dilbert. I was sitting there reading like from the very first strips when Dilbert had this, he was weird looking and pudgy. And the boss had jowls, and the boss was kind of intelligent. Actually, he wasn't an idiot. He was just a roadblock. He was deliberately trying to make things like hard for Dilbert. He would turn down his suggestions. Dilbert had something that would save the world, and he was just like, oh, that's nice. Let me take that. Don't tell anyone else about that. He was just pure evil. And then somewhere along the line, he morphed into having pointy hair, and he lost the jowls, and then he lost intelligence. But I enjoyed reading the works of Scott Adams. And I'm sorry to hear that he won't be around for much. I'm sorry to hear that he's going through what he's going through, and that he's not long for this world. And I don't know what happened to the man where he just went off on this deep end. Like, he fawned over Trump, and I was like, this is the guy that you wrote all of your comic strips about. This is the guy. He was the pointy-haired boss. He was an idiot. why do you talk great about this man? He's a master of persuasion. And I remember reading it up to that point where you started talking about Trump is a master of persuasion. And you point out, see the way he says these things? You see how he sticks that title to someone? He says they can't remove that, and when they can't do that, it shows weakness. And that's why he's going to, and he was showing how Trump was brilliant in destroying his opponents, or it seemed like he was brilliant in destroying his opponents in the debates. But really, it's just that the people in those debates aren't worth shit. Marco Rubio's not worth anything. Mike Huckabee's not worth anything. All these people are doofuses. They were easy to pick on. It was easy to expose their flaws. I will give Trump that. At least he had a whole marketing scheme where it was just, you know, even if he did something wrong, even if he was a loser, that's what everybody was pointing out. It's like, why are we listening to this man? It's like he's bankrupt. He has no money. His marriage has failed. Everything he touches turns to shit. The Trump Foundation is the thing that saved him. His kids were the ones that bailed him out of all of this stuff. And the kids are keeping the Trump Foundation floating along. And then he just, if it wasn't for reality TV, trash TV, he would have just disappeared and gone into obscurity. The media created this monster, and the media has no right to complain that their monster got out of control. But yeah, Scott Adams, man. It was fun reading. He gave me a lot of food for thought. Love or hate the man. The problem is there are no saints and there are plenty of sinners. So what you have to do sometimes is try to extract the saintly values out of just about everybody you meet. I'm sure there's some odious historical figures that we just utterly loathe, but there's one thing that they did and everybody says, that guy said that? And I say, yeah, that guy said that. Well, he's right, but he's still a piece of trash. So the media elevated Trump and gave him this platform, but he had to have a platform, and that platform was formed by, was it Lee Atwater, and the Southern Strategy, and then you had the guy who called himself the quote-unquote rodeo clown, the original Lonesome Rhodes in Rush Limbaugh. And that's all Trump did, was he copied Rush Limbaugh, and he says, well, people know who I am, and I'm actually going to run. They wanted Rush Limbaugh to run, but he never would. Maybe it starts even more before that. No, I was going to say it starts with the Birch Society, but the Birch Society works for, like, the populists like Trump. The Birch Society is a whole nother level of weird. They're kind of the guys running the Heritage Foundation. And it scares me that this organization, this anti-communist organization that was going to disappear after the election of Trump, pretty willing to bet you that there are some guys from that organization that was dying now working on major policy. But I mean, I guess you could say that about the Klan too. Years of lawsuits that broke the Klan, and they had all but disappeared. I'm pretty sure there's probably some Klansmen working the levers of power now. Of course, I say this in a former Klan city. I say this is a former Klan city. It might still be Klanish. There might be an old dude out there somewhere still holding the reins of power. Is it? Oh, it's working. No, it isn't. No, it's not working. But it is. That's working. Now, did the borrachos hit this? Or did it just... I think that's the sign that says bike trail or trucks or something. Do not enter except bicycles. So some fucking asshole, I guess, didn't like that. He just creamed that sign. Blap! So, where did that come out of? I don't know. So I guess with this capstone here. Oh man, I'm never gonna get tired. It's just, like I said, this is the ultimate middle finger to my neighborhood. This is the line in the sand. It's like, this is where we don't want you, like, this is where sensible folks, this is the boundary between sensible folks and assholes. They don't see that both sides have assholes. Anyway, this is the line. Go ahead and christen the sidewalk. So I guess I'm assuming they're going to put... Now the funny thing is it says no pedestrian, and yet they put this, it's basically a sidewalk. Yeah, but they didn't put the step down thing. They don't want disabled people using this. Yeah, this is the line in the sand. There's no signal on this thing. No U-turn, no left turn. No U-turn, no left turn. As if people were going to see that. And then in typical Dallas fashion, this will dead end into nowhere. Like, you're just here. There's no plans to like link that up with that over there. It looks like it just stops here. That's all this is. This is the line that tells everybody, don't cross. This is, you are now crossing into the Badlands. They even had nerve enough to kind of like start to paint a crosswalk here. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I just work here. No, it never lets up. This is just all these fucking assholes all day, every day. I mean, they don't give you any time. It's like, that is really hostile. Like, hey man, you're not supposed to be passing here. I was like, oh, excuse me. They want it very clear. No pedestrians, you're not allowed to go here, you go here. You don't go there, you go there. There's a big sign that says, no pedestrian. I was like, no pedestrian where? Is this no pedestrians here or no pedestrians there? What is this no pedestrian sign? What does that mean? How are you going to enforce that? Just, what did the Army guys say? There's dumb and then there's Army dumb. Was there dumb and then there's Dallas dumb? That's like that guy trying to tell me in that meeting. I said, well, people are going to walk there. He says, no, they should not be able to get there. He says, no one can walk there. And I says, I walk there. Well, you're not supposed to. I was like, okay. Are you going to slap me on the back of the wrist with your ruler? I've been a bad boy. I went into your area that I wasn't supposed to walk in. Then we were asking, well, what's going to stop somebody from just, setting up camp over there? Well, we were monitoring the area. I was like, yeah. Don't say it with DPD. DPD's going to look and they're going to laugh and they say, really? This is news to us. We're going to patrol that area? Yeah, right. think you're going to add that to DPD's plate and they're going to, you know, respond handsomely and beautifully with that. It's like, no, they're just going to look at it and it's like, eh. Maybe the first couple of weeks, they really get on there and get hard on them. And then after a couple months, they'll just lose. Like I said, they have other things to do. No, I just came by here to see what progress they were making. And they just, like I said, they let us know that this is where phase 2 ends. Phase 3 will depend. Camp down there. Definitely. Phase 3 will depend on who moves into my neighborhood. It starts to look like you folks are going to behave yourselves, we might connect over to I got a good laugh out of that one. I was not expecting that level of stupidity. I was like, all right, you're going to build a sidewalk, then tell people they can't use the sidewalk. But not really do anything to stop them or discourage them. So, if you got 2 perfectly good legs, you'll be making that trip, but it is dicey and dangerous. You saw me trying to cross, and there's like that light was not long enough for anything. There are no pedestrian signals that let people know, hey, there's going to be a guy walking through here. They didn't put a ramp down. It's a pretty cat. I think it was a cat. I'm pretty sure it was a cat. For a second I thought it was a ferret or something. Just my luck, it'd have been a damn skunk. Now this is getting overgrown. Oh man. All they did was fix the signs. Oh, there's my spider girl. Man, she gets around. I thought, oh, that's a different spider. Yeah, okay, there's multiple spiders over here. This guy might be mating. And good luck to you, man. I mean, you're dead either way, but good luck to you. Maybe you'll spread some genes. I don't even know what. Like I said, they said, well, we gave him the signs, and I was like, that's nice, but what I really wanted was I was like, y'all did the bare minimum. Maybe someday I'll come down here and that'll be repainted and there'll be a cap on the thing, and I guess at this point I should just be glad that the light works and there's new signs. But it's such a Dallas thing, like a coat of paint. That might take you, what, 15 minutes? Just hit it. A plate, screw it in. And it becomes a federal case. Literally a federal case. Looking over there. It's looking wet. You know, do I still have a... How long have I been out here? 2 hours? Okay, yeah, this thing died a long time ago. It's so loud and there's so many assholes that I didn't hear it. It doesn't matter because my body cam, it'll keep, like, this thing will go for 8 hours. I kid you, I have had this thing on, Alex pontificating for 7 hours, and I think it had, I still could have kept going for another couple. It cut out maybe 30 minutes ago. I guess we'll find out. We won't get a rainstorm for quite a while. All right. Well, it is what it is. Broken in this hat. Like the whole time I've been wearing it, I took it off a couple times, but it's kind of heavy. This grass is getting kind of high. I guess I'll be putting in a ticket about this tomorrow. Or next week. We'll leave it for next week. When I'm going to the meeting, this will probably be a whole lot worse. And still works.
Wait to cross Northwest Highway at Marsh. Wait.
Wait until dark. W-E-I-G-H-T. Lights work. I think that's the aid people. Thank you. I was not expecting someone not to just run me straight up, flap over. How far have I walked? Maybe two fur. You're gone too fur. That weird time when you pronounce an A with a U sound. I think that's the beauty of the vowel, is it's meant to be the wild card in languages. The consonants are pretty much stuck in, you know, stuck with their fate. But the vowels, in the French, they take that to extremes, man. Yeah, I know that looks like an E, but depending on what mood we're in and what time of the week it is, we'll have that E change all sorts of ways. E is the ultimate wild card in French. Sometimes we'll pronounce it, sometimes we won't. Sometimes we'll pronounce it with a U sound. Sometimes it's an E, sometimes it's an A. Why are you trying to put rules on me, man? Why are you trying to put labels? I'm an E. I could be anything I want to be. If I want to pronounce my E's with an X sound, I can do that, yo. You're like, all right. The temperamental E in French. I'm not saying that English doesn't do that. I just pointed it out. The letter A isn't always the letter A. It really just depends on what mood we're in. The Russians kind of have that same problem. It's like, you know, Vlad's like, you know, I'm tired of being Vlad. I can be Vlad sometimes. What? But they didn't get too crazy with like the French. They just said, look, we're going to pronounce it one of two ways. It can either be an A or an O, depending on where it's at, and how it sounds, and how easy it is to pronounce. We'll let you know. We'll get back to you. That's what I hate about when I was trying to learn Russian. It's like the whole language is written with an addendum. You know what? We don't know yet on that. We'll get back to you. Like, what do you mean you don't know yet? Like, you've been speaking the language for over 1,000 years. You don't know. You can't write that down. Nah, it's just, you know, sometimes it depends, man. It just depends on how we're feeling. And I was with them. I was like, okay, I'm in the Russian language. I'm in the Russian language. Okay, cool. This is cool. Then the invasion happens. I was like, well, maybe it'll still come in handy one day. I'll still keep going. And then they ran out of easy words, and I was like, okay. This is how you say I broke my elbow, and you're just like, I can't pronounce half of that. I was like, I didn't know you could put consonants together like that. What are you doing right now? I think there was a word I learned one time. It was like hid yo, and it would be like, what? Russian greetings. Those are the Russian greetings. It's the one that it's got all of this. It's a real long. It means like to good health or something. Not Zdrovia. But it was the what is that? It's got like an I. You don't pronounce the I. It's got a whole bunch of letters that you just don't. People just don't. I'll have to go look at it again. Be things like hold it knee. Hold it knee, yeah, or something like, you know. I think it meant like light. I had to turn something on, and I was like, what? In English, it's turn on, flip switch. In other languages, it's light torch, or turn light, or something. was that? Zadenroven. Zadenroven, something like that. But it's like whenever you get ready to drink, there was 3 different things. There's to life, to help, to something else, to friendship. And it's like you're gonna be drinking a lot in Russia, so you better learn these three basic before you take it. You know, before you drink, you have to give this. It's customary to give this toast. And one of the easiest ones is just to say, you know, to help. It's a standard greeting. I can't remember if it was the time of day. I was learning it on Babbel. We were getting deep into it where you had to start learning the cases. Russian is still based on like Greek and Latin, and so there's 6 cases. At least there was. And the guys are like, no, that's only if like you're going to take some kind of government exam, you need to know that. He said, most of the time we only use 2 of those cases, just like in English. So they have simplified the language. Would you ever learn Russian again? If Vladimir Putin dies, maybe I'd think about it. I mean, learn the language for a place I'm never going to go, you know? I was just learning the language. I learned the language for the wrong reason. It was in the repertoire, and I was like, well, I can't learn Japanese. And I was like, Russian women are pretty beautiful. I was like, any country that produces women that beautiful can't be that bad. And when I first started learning it, I was like, okay, it's a very practical language. And then right around the 6th month, the practicality went out the window. Like 3 different ways to say you're in pain, and all of them are hard to pronounce words. And then we had to learn the cases, and they never explained why I would use it in this situation. It was just repeat after me. I was like, no, not repeat after me. Why would I have to say it this way? Why are there 5 different ways to say it? Every fucking time I try to cross this street, some fucking asshole's coming by. I've been trying to get a picture of this for the longest, and of course I'm getting it in the dark. This ridiculous idiot trying to get across the street, and I'm just like, okay. I was like, you got somewhere you need to be? Every time. Durango is a mess, but it won't be for much longer. I just keep thinking the city went through here and changed out the curbs and fixed the street, and then just left all of that dirt and stuff all over the sidewalk. This is one of the few streets where they left the dirt. The other one is over there on Park Lane. Someone's frying something. It smells good. Fried chicken. Not bad. Canola oil. Sat there talking the whole time about different things, and then got pissed off. I was like, well, I got a hair trigger. I get tired of dodging traffic. It gets old, man. I'm getting old. And so I'm sitting here trying to walk across the street, and I got some dude barreling toward me, lights ablazing. And he looks at me like I'm the weirdo. I was like, I'm just doing what we've been doing naturally for 200,000 years.